I've come to the realization, and we all have to, that it's over. Everything that America stood for is over. Everything that every country ever envied us for is over. The reason why immigrants wanted to migrate here is over. There is nothing left. In a matter of months, not even a full year, everything is destroyed. And it keeps getting worse and worse. And then you have the supporters of this who don't even realize that it's getting worse for them too. It's worse for you. It's worse for your kids. It's worse for everyone that comes after you. Everything is destroyed. There is no constitution. It does not matter. Even if we got rid of the entire administration right now, we are too far gone.
Hey, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Shai, Hashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Salutation to the Archeon, pushing the suit in sincerity and in truth. Yeah, brother, I sat back at you with another lesson on 35. You know? Well, this one here, there's no turning point for Babylon. Understand? There's no turning point for Babylon, you know? Babylon is basically rotten, is like an apple rotten on the inside, right? The economy is getting much higher, you know. As you see that American dream, people think they want to come across and, you know, have a lifestyle, but I don't have that anymore, right? As you see, martial law being declared in different states because you rise of crime and gang wars. You know, the cost of living as well, it has even raised high. You know, the government supports a lot of it, Medicaid, all these things being taken away by the cruel Lord. And it's all the Lord's doing, you know, because the Lord is basically setting up that place for a fall. Right? You get here the book of Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 and verses 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said Yahweh Hashem Shai. Yeah, you know, that is why he basically removes the army, and he basically stripping everything that the poor has, right? Getting rid of a lot of government, you know, stability checks, you know, and all these things, you know, making moves that impacting the people drastically. For instance, that the tariffs, you know, it actually started to backfire upon Babylon, right? With those costs and whatnot, a lot of people, they would think twice to send goods to Babylon, and it would only bring famine, the spike of prices upon them own selves. Well, this is basically the Lord setting up these things to happen. Listening to Isaiah 19 and 14, the Lord had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst hereof, and they have caused Egypt to this is as a modern day Egypt. Babylon, as the scripture call it, Sodom and Egypt, place of bondage, you know, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggered in his vomit. Yeah, I know. Egypt starting to urge greatly, right? A lot of people, they basically talking, they're coming out, you know, and a lot of people, they speaking of that race war coming, you know, that race war coming, that spirit being heavy in Babylon, right? It's neither shall there be any work for Egypt, what your head or the tail, branch or rush may do. Recently have had a lot of job losses, a lot of heavy unemployment in Babylon. And we see what the cruel Lord doing, he getting rid of the so-called immigrants, which is Jake. They're basically taken out, and that also backfire on them, because majority of these, Jakes, they work up on the farms and plants, many farms and whatnot. They basically had to close them because there are no workers to keep produce and whatnot, running. Right? That's a quick article here. There's a divide in the US. This is recent news. So about 4 days ago, US economy between the haves and haves nots, and accelerating inflation, right, driven in part by tariffs, could make it worse. Government data points to the early stages of business passing on the coast of US President Donald Trump's sweeping import tariff to consumers. Still, inflation remains well below its peak, and a debate continues over the extent to which tariffs will lead to sustain a rise in pace of price hikes. But Americans like Yankee Clark are feeling the pinch. Yankee, a nurse student in Manhattan who identified as lower income, said while shopping for groceries at a Target store this week that prices are actually drastically high for meat, vegetables, and fruits. It's quite a while now, but it's getting higher, she said. And it's not just groceries. When she was recently back to school shopping for a 13-year-old daughter, Yankee found those prices to be very much higher compared to previous years. And this is just all the beginning of it. The book second is just 16:21. It said, behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah. And this is what the Lord basically bringing there. Right? Let me start at 18. The beginning of sorrows and mournings and great famine, and the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the poor shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do in these days shall come. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of the scourges. So Babylon the Great, you're seeing the economy, it's actually being in a more worsened state. Now it's more hard to get into Babylon. They're doing a lot of exports, a lot of a lot of deportation. The Lord prepping that spot for that fall. Let me see if I get that. Jeremiah 51. And verses 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. For judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Because a lot of people, the basic elements, they're saying that it's easier to go and take a vacation in China and other countries than go to Babylon. Because the cost of living is high. The rent, all these things went up, food prices went up. And as they say, the Lord setting off a vibration, a heavy wickedness in Babylon. That's why you're seeing it. You're seeing mass shootings. Look, even the talk show man, Cook, that was shot and killed. Things could even escalate to that, because the people angry. Although they said suspect he was caught and whatnot, right? Because that is just the times we living in. The scripture talk about iniquity abounding, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. A man just stabbed a woman upon the bus. And something heavy that Trump is basically implementing is for the death penalty. Right? He announcing that plentiful, because bringing back hangings and electrocutions and these things. This is something that Trump will bring back in heavy. So hopefully this lesson was edifying. You see in the times, everything's not looking good for Babylon. Scripture says, arise and depart, this is not a rest. Hopefully this was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Shai. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone until the next Shalom.